Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Plain Bagel. I'm your host, Richard Coffin. As we all probably know by now, and as we've covered on the channel actually in a recent video, cryptocurrency is not having a very good time. A lot of prominent cryptocurrencies have fallen steeply in value. A number of alternative crypto coins and kind of schemes, if you will, have had fraud and scams come to the surface. And NFTs have actually seen their sales drop to a 12-month low as people fear a coming recession. Investors are kind of forced to be a bit more diligent with where they put their money. And that may all lead you to believe that the days of the scummy marketing and advertising are coming to an end, that we are finally reaching a point where people are realizing, hey, maybe not every project is actually going to go to the moon, and maybe a lot of this is fluff. Well, it's unfortunately with a heavy heart that I come to tell you that no, there's still a lot of money being thrown at these projects, and importantly, influencers, including myself apparently. You see, it wasn't too long ago that I got an email offering to pay me $2,400 to tweet about an NFT project that had something to do with bears. I'm a professional, damn it. And I've actually talked about this kind of stuff in the past. It's not actually the most outrageous number I've received. And my inbox is honestly flooded on a daily basis with emails asking to promote different NFT and crypto projects. But my Twitter account barely has over 2,400 followers. I don't have a big Twitter presence. And I know that, obviously celebrities get paid to tweet about stuff and probably, in most cases get paid a lot more than this amount. For me, it's still bonkers. And that all brings me to the point that I want to make with this video. And that's that I truly believe that influencer marketing is ruining the finance industry, is ruining the industry I work in. Whether it be people like Kim Kardashian saying that she's excited about Ethereum Max, the future of crypto, I'm sure. Or Tina Mojo saying that she's making money poolside through something called Titscoin. Or even the more recent accusations I've seen circulate about finance YouTubers being paid secretly to promote companies such as Voyager, which honestly, based on my experience, is probably not that far-fetched of a story. Influencers seem to have moved away from taking sponsorships from HelloFresh and Squarespace to financial assets. And when I would make more money tweeting about something in a minute than I would from a week of work as a portfolio manager, it's easy to see how we've gotten to this really messed up position. So you can consider this video as a sort of public service announcement, as a handbook or guide from the HR department about why we should avoid this stuff, why it's not good. And if you have an influencer that's doing this kind of stuff, feel free to send them this video. Maybe we can come to a mutual understanding that, let's just stop. Let's hop into it. The first point is that you are promoting a financial product. Like I said, I'm truly not anti-sponsorship or, influencer marketing. But this isn't a shirt. You're not selling merchandise. With merchandise, there's no illusion that this stuff might change your life. Sure, you might be disappointed with the quality of the thing you get, but generally speaking, most people understand the cause and effect, if you will, of what they're getting. With cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and stocks, the one primary reason that the vast majority of people buy these things, and the only reason that they're being marketed to people, is for the financial return. You can argue that there's utility for these projects. You can argue that the art justifies the price, but no. The vast majority of people are buying because they believe that this stuff might increase in value very quickly. And I think it's easy enough to see that if you take away this aspect from these projects where there's no potential of making a financial return from these things, the demand collapses. Now, I hope I don't have to explain why it can be destructive to promote individual assets in this way. But if you aren't aware, when it comes to traditional finance, the reason why you don't see stocks and mutual funds and ETFs being promoted in the same manner, where you have Jake Paul talking about how great the total market ETF is because there are very strict rules in place to protect consumers with these explicit financial products. Lo and behold, back when these rules didn't exist, a lot of people got hurt, specifically through something that you might have heard of, the Great Depression. During the Great Depression, speculation was rampant. A lot of people were being sold specific stocks on their huge hyped up potential for return. And a lot of people ended up going bankrupt as a result of this, which obviously is a bit more important than, losing 30 bucks on a hoodie. So with stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds, there are rules in place in terms of how you can present different return figures. You're not allowed to cherry pick different numbers. You have to present things fairly. There are rules about the disclosures you have to provide about the risk that comes with these products. And there are rules in place that if you want to recommend or give advice about, financial products, you have to be registered. But many of these rules don't yet apply to crypto. And this left us with influencers who in many cases don't have that financial background, promoting these things to their audience basically telling them to gamble on this stuff on the high hopes that they'll make it big, but giving it the guise of an investment product. This is something with a huge long-term potential. Maybe, hashtag not financial advice. Now, the second reason why financial products have no space with influencer marketing is the lack of responsibility that people take when their viewers are screwed over.
Chat, by the way, that MILF token shit I did a while back, I already told you guys, don't buy that shit. I got paid a bag to do that shit. How many of you guys actually bought it?
I don't need to tell you that the crypto space is riddled with scams and fraud. Whether it be explicit rug pulls where people quite literally steal money from investors, or just, projects that don't deliver on their promises, their explicit roadmap that they lay out for people, say, we will do these things, and then don't. There's a lot of hollow projects out there that are just bound to lose people money. And rather than influencers being more responsible and doing their due diligence on these things, realizing that, maybe it takes a bit more expertise to sift through this kind of stuff, we instead have a lot of people taking no responsibility when their viewers become bag holders for a lot of these projects. Because there doesn't seem to be many consequences outside of the off chance that some of these people, get some pushback from their viewers, which, when you have people who have these big personalities, doesn't actually tend to take them down. And I think we're at a point where influencers need to stop claiming ignorance, right? We all saw Save the Kids, for example, that big project that fell through, was supposedly a charity coin and really dragged down a lot of influencers with it, when in reality it was a scam. So, we have this example, we have these situations that have happened time and time again. If we want to work with a charity, work with a charity, work with Save the Children. Don't work with these schemes that, have a charity aspect to them to add some appeal to it, when at the end of the day, they're still just a financial product. Now, leading into my final argument, one point that, like I mentioned, I see a lot of people raise is, Richard, this is just the name of the game. This is how influencers earn money. It's from sponsorships. Would you disparage an actor for being part of a payday loan commercial? Well, that's the thing, and that's my final point here. The final point is that people trust influencers, and that's what distinguishes them here. In fact, there was this awesome video done by a friend of mine over at How Money Works talking about the influencer marketing bubble, he called it. And in this video, he cited this Twitter survey that showed that many people trusted influencers almost at the same level as their close friends, with 49% of respondents reporting that they actually rely on influencers for getting their different product recommendations. So clearly, influencers have a lot of sway, and a big reason behind that is that people believe a lot of influencers to be genuine, not actors, but genuine personalities. And sadly, the Finfluencer sort of started as a counter movement to Wall Street because, yes, there are a lot of problems in traditional finance. We've seen this area gain a lot of the same problems as Wall Street, whether it comes to misrepresenting things, overselling the potential of stuff without any of the, at the very least, some expertise and regulation and rules to protect consumers. Now, obviously, this is more of a debatable point. I just think that there's more of a clear distinction between a corporate message being said through an actor, in the form of a commercial, versus when an influencer who, is self-published, putting out their own voice and saying that they support this one project or they think you should buy this one NFT or crypto. Now, I've seen the argument a lot that the onus shouldn't be on influencers, that should be on the viewer. And I agree to an extent there, actually. I do think that the only one who can protect you from, your financial decisions is you. You have to get to a point where you're educated. You have to take that responsibility to learn about finance, to be able to sift through these sorts of things and to not be influenced by these kind of crappy promotions. The problem, though, with washing the hands clean of all these influencers is that we're not at a place where the average person is capable of doing that. According to a FINRA study, only 34% of adults in the US could answer 4 of 5 basic financial literacy questions correctly in a financial literacy quiz. And this number is actually down from 42% in 2009. So financial literacy has actually gotten worse in the age of the influencer. So when an influencer comes forward and says, hey, I have an investment, there's one right here, I highly recommend it, some people will listen and you can fault them for that. But when the education's not there, like, what do you expect? It's going to happen that way. And if you don't agree with me there, let me take kind of an example, an extreme example, true, but one just to kind of explain my viewpoint here is imagine you had pharmaceutical companies that were able to sell whatever they wanted. There's no regulation, they sold things and they were able to say that these things did whatever they wanted. Obviously, a lot of people don't have that medical knowledge to know what different ingredients do, what the chemical reaction that your brain will have to different things, and all the risks that come with this sort of stuff. So sure, you could argue, hey, you know what, it's stupid of you to trust pharmaceutical companies, but hey, if you're sick, or AKA if you're not in a good financial spot, and someone's coming forward to you saying, hey, I have the solution, I have this thing that will do well for you, that will help you out, it's kind of silly to then turn around and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't know that was going to be a scam. You didn't know benzodine was a carcinogen? You know, I'm sure you would think it would be wrong in the pharmaceutical space because the average person doesn't have that medical experience. And yes, medicine is a bit more complicated than finance, but it's just an analogy, right? To show you why we're going to have problems when we have influencer marketing in the realm of financial products. A lot of people think this is investing. It's not. It's speculating. And for a lot of people over the long term, it's not going to do them well. Now, thankfully, some believe that the days of this sort of influencer marketing are limited. I know that the conclusion of How Money Works video was basically that influencers are going to lose influence because of the abuse that's arisen from this area. Maybe with the crypto winter, that'll be sooner rather than later. But until we get to that point, the responsibility does fall on you as a viewer. You know, watch their content, take in the information they offer, but take everything with a grain of salt. And when someone's promoting something to you, ask yourself the question of what's in it for them. Do they own the thing and have a conflict of interest, you know, trying to sell you this thing explicitly? Or a big one, is this person qualified to talk to you about these sorts of things? And if they aren't, just do yourself a favor. If they continually talk about this stuff and continually promote this stuff, unfollow them, stop listening to them. They're going to do you more harm than good when it comes to your own financial decisions. Anyway, thank you for joining me today and giving me a chance to kind of explain my opinion here. It is really just that, an opinion. And it comes from a very specific point. You know, I'm someone who works in the industry and is a YouTuber. I have a very specific viewpoint. And it's not to be condescending to people who don't work in the industry, but the paid promotion of financial products really does rub me the wrong way. But still, I would be interested in hearing your thoughts, especially if you have a counter argument. The goal is to, you know, share my opinion and then hear other opinions. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like the video, make sure to like, subscribe. Oh, you know, yeah, you get it. Thanks for joining me today. And as always, be safe out there.